Good morning. It is 10 minutes after 5, and I'm making a cup of coffee. And since I'm living from the back of the Airstream this week, living and working, I thought I'd just post a short video on how I make my coffee when camping. Because I've come to really appreciate a good cup of coffee in the morning, especially during the pandemic. And I thought it might help other folks who might be starting off their camping season. So I'm just going to share with you what I do. There's many ways to do this, many points of views on the correct way of doing it, but hopefully some of the things that I do will help others make a decent cup of coffee in the morning. So when I'm out camping, I have a pretty generic bean, but of course the better quality bean you've got and the more uniform it's ground is helpful. Normally at home I'd use a French press, but since I'm on the road, I have a drip system where when I'm done, I can just take the paper filter and throw it away. So it's really easy to clean up. And it drips into a thermos, excuse me. So the coffee stays hot, and I've got my mug. So I don't have to pour it all, or I don't have to drink it all right away. I can leave it in the thermos, and it does a great job. So during the morning, I can have a couple cups, or half a cup in the morning to start, and then a couple hours later I can have another half a cup. Water. I bring my own water with me when I'm making coffee because the quality of your cup of coffee in the morning also depends on the quality of your water. And since I'm traveling in the back of the Airstream, I never know what type of quality water I've got. Boiling the water. This is the thing that I'm not sure everybody knows, is that great coffee is also a product of how you brew it. And they talk about a water temperature between 195 and 205 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, I'm at the Cape Cod Canal this morning, so I'm basically at sea level. So I know that around 195 to 205 degrees Fahrenheit is my shooting temperature. So I watch how the kettle boils, and I can kind of tell now, just before it gets to a full rolling boil is when I shut it off. And hopefully I keep it down. If I remember correctly, at sea level, it's 215 Fahrenheit. I'll have to look it up. But I think water boils at 215 degrees Fahrenheit. Some people use a thermometer to test their water. I do it from practice. And then other people weigh the amount of coffee they use as opposed to how much water. I don't get that specific. I've been drinking too much coffee my entire life, so I've worked hard to reduce the amount of coffee to water ratio. It does water it down a tiny bit, but I'm getting older. It's hard to sleep through the entire night, so having too much caffeine in my body is tough. And that's it. At home, I'd use a French press to get those oils out and the flavor out of the bean a little better. But since I'm doing drip, I'm sacrificing my French press because it's just easier when you're camping. So that's it. I'll boil up some water and then I'll start dripping. Oh, boy. I actually know from practice the mark in the kettle, so I know how much water I need to boil. And I've got enough water to preheat my mug and then to drip my coffee. All right. And I'll be back. All right, so you get it before, there we go. Just before it starts piping, you want to cut the heat. So I've got to it just before it started getting to that boil. So a couple numbers. Water boils at 212 Fahrenheit, not 215. But I hope that by cutting off the boiling in the kettle, just as it starts to steam, I'm keeping down below that. Another number, I know it's early in the morning for numbers. My water heater in the Airstream heats the water to 117 degrees. So what I've done is I have put hot water in this thermos for the coffee to preheat it. I'm going to use this water to wash dishes anyway. So now that I've preheated it, as I drip my coffee, it's not going in a cold container. So I've got a plastic basin in the sink for my dishes that I'll be doing in a few minutes. So I'm all set to start brewing the coffee. Alright, so these filters can get a little fussy. You can't just kind of start throwing water in there. You kind of have to wet them. Let me see if I can move this closer so you can see what I'm doing. Sorry for the camera work. I've not had my coffee yet this morning, so the camera work may be a little crazy. So I put a little water in and make sure the filter is properly set. Alright, so bear with me here because there's a method to my madness. When this first set of water drips down, it's going to leave the coffee along the sides. So as you're dripping the coffee, I put in a little water and I keep washing down the sides. So that way I've got all the grinds being used. So, and of course I have enough water to preheat my mug. There we go. So the idea is that you don't want to be putting coffee, unless you like iced coffee, but you don't want to be putting coffee inside your containers if they're cold, because a cold container is just going to suck all the heat out, and it kind of defeats the purpose of having a nice hot cup of coffee in the morning. Whoa, boy, I wish you could smell that smell of coffee. It is phenomenal. So anyway, I'm gonna cut the video and I'll come back. Okay, we are almost done. I have preheated my mug, so that water can be used for washing the dishes as well. And so, as you can tell, it's nice to see getting most of the grounds down to the bottom. I don't know if you can see that in the video, but I'm done dripping. I don't really need to do this, but kind of OCD, but I just clean the side and I put the top on and I'm all set. I now have a thermos filled with coffee for the morning. Boy, it really does smell great. So, and that is how I make a great cup of coffee when I'm out camping. Oh wow, that is good. I hope this helps folks find their own way to making a good cup of coffee in the morning. You know, if you have another way that you make coffee, or if you think there's things that should be done differently, go ahead and post a note. Let other people know. Because when you're out camping, having a great cup of coffee in the morning to start your day is a wonderful, wonderful way. So that's it. I'll see y'all on the road. Bye.
Oh, yeah.